In this video, I'm going to show you the catch, I'm going to show you how to clean, and I'm going to tell you the best ways to catch rainbow trout or any other fish species in general. If this sounds interesting to you, you might just want to stay around and watch the rest.
Lose it? Do you know how hard I'm gonna laugh?
He's wrapped around it, so I'm not losing it.
Uh-huh.
We got some beauties, guys. Some nice male rainbow trout. Right. What's up, guys? We're gonna do some preparations on these bad boys. I'm gonna show that they're legal age first, just because I don't want to save myself the hassle, because they look smaller on camera, even though these are actually some fairly big trout. One sec. As you can see, the tail fins go way off of it. It's a good 13-inch. And then this one it doesn't even fit in the sink, so it's more than 12 inches. It's probably a good 14. Now I need a knife. So what we're gonna do, this is how I prepare them. So what I have is a salt water, like a very lightly salted water, just because it helps get the slime off. So what I do is I go in the bum. You want to use cold water, and you want to try not to puncture anything. Maybe this knife isn't sharp. Got it. So you take your knife, you want to gently work your way up and try not to puncture any organs. And you want to go see where it is, the knife is, directly in between those fins, okay? So when you go directly between the fins, you're going to separate the bone instead of cutting. Actually, I'll show you when it's cut open all the way. You see? You just keep cutting her up. Might be harder, and I go all the way up to there, okay? So you'll end up with this big space like this. And like I said, cut between them, you will not end up cutting the bone. There's the bone still hidden in the meat, because you just separate a joint is all you're doing instead of cutting through the bone. See? And if you're a fisherman who like to catch and keep fish, you need to be able to identify which is a female and which is a male. Because with the amount of anglers nowadays, we need more females, less males. Because if you want to eat them, make sure it's a male, or try to identify it best you can. Because do you know what is really surprising? You can take this sperm sac and you can eat it. It is it's like a creamy, it's like not the greatest part of the fish, but it's definitely up there. Like you can mix it in with stuff if you wanted, and you would end up with like this super, super nutritious. This is like, to any of you bodybuilders or gym boys out there, this is what you want to be eating. It is literally just nutrients. That's all it is nutrients. It's literally the building blocks of life. And then so what I do from here on is you take your trout. I like to hold it by the head because you get a better grip. Take your trout, hold it by the head, go under this fin, and you're going to want to poke a hole on the other side towards the gill plate, okay? When you cut this hole right next to the gill plate, right next to the fin, there's a bone inside the fin. You just want to do that, and if you cut it right, you'll get just this little flab of flesh and not enough meat on that to really care. Like a lot of people cut the belly off right here anyways because it's just no good. And then after that, you want to take your knife, and you can tell where it's hard. It's right here. There's like a line that goes around the fish's head like that. You want to take your knife and you want to cut along it. You don't have to be super, super like careful about it. A lot of people, like I said, they don't think that this meat on top is worth it. I do. I think it's some of the best tasting meat there is on a trout. But then you like circle up it. And when you circle up it, then you cut it all the way up. And I like to go up the head a little bit. Come on, it'll let me. Sometimes there's just not enough meat up there for, yeah. So see, now that's the hard part. Like, it's quite hard. You can tell. And then you want to take it. You want to make a slit across the forehead where it's still fleshy. And you want to go down the other side. Be very, very careful with your fingers in there. And then again, you want to take it behind the, well, yes. Whatever, I'll just do it this way. I want to take it and poke it through. See what I mean? But you don't necessarily have to be super skilled. Like, all of that's, like, pretty much all of this white meat underneath, where the scales are white, a lot of people just get rid of that because there's not enough meat there. A lot of people say, but I don't know. I like to keep it on there just for texture-wise. And so when you cut it free, it'll be just a head, a spine. Nope, see, not cut free yet. You want to cut all the way down to the spine. Take it, take your other hand, grab it, and you're going to want to push backwards on the head till you hear this. You hear that? That's the spine separating. Then you want to push it down. You want to make it into a talking guy. Blah, blah. See? He's like sitting sideways. And then you take your finger from the top. You'll get like a little cubby most of the time. And you just want to pull. When you pull on that, watch what happens. This is my favorite part. Watch everything comes out. So if you still had the semen on there, that would look a lot more significant. But I'm telling you, that's the trick with fish. For pan frying fish. Because see, that's all of the organs still attached to the spine. My finger was sitting in right here. So I kind of like knuckle it and then like peel it out. And it should pretty much just instantly come out like it's nothing. But yeah, no, it's pretty dope. Alrighty. There. Now that I tell you how to do it, I'll teach you again. Because the only way to learn is by doing it, learning twice. If you want to cut off the tail, you can. I leave it on there because I like it personally. It's like a crispy fry if you do it right. That's how I can actually tell if the fish is done correctly, is by the tail. Because if the tail isn't like absolutely perfect, that means the fish isn't going to be the greatest. If it's overcooked and like charcoaly and black and not good at all, that means it was cooked too hot or it was cooked too long. So there you go. So it'll end up with like this goldeny brown. I'll show you when I cook it. Anyways, what you can do is you can also take off these right here. And if you want to do that, here, I'll show you. Some people decide to like just chop them off like that, but it leaves bones in here in the meat. What you want to actually do is take it. Come on. Take it, run your knife into it, okay? Like go in just a little bit to where it's actually fleshy, and then just scratch through the scales till you break through. There. Now that I broke through the skin, I just want to cut along the fins. So I'm trying to keep my blade perpendicular with the fins. And I'm cutting in to the fish in a sec. And then you just auger your way into the meat and try not to cut the bones. You can feel them. Like they're just kind of like there. Then you flip the fish over. And you do the same thing to the other side. And again, don't be too worried if you miss a little bit or if you get a little bit of meat, like you cut off a little bit of meat. Like, it's a whole fish. You're not gonna starve to death. At least if you're somewhere where there's trout, there's a good chance you're not in a third world country, meaning you got enough food to stay alive, and you don't really need that much. Like, that little amount's not gonna do you that much. But yeah, so see what I did? And then after, you can pinch it inside. And you kind of just like, come on. If you get it right, sometimes you can just literally peel all of the bones. I messed up. I don't ever really care about this part. Just for the fact that they're really easy to remove when you cook the fish in the first place. It's just, it leaves for a lot nicer of a presentation. And people don't look at you as much like, oh, you won't even cut off the fins. Like, yeah. I did a sloppy job just because I don't do it enough. Like, I don't practice. But as you can see, there's bones there. Come on. There we go. As you can see, that's the bones. There's probably a couple in there still, but it just, as you can see, when your fish is cooked and stuff, it just leaves for a better presentation. And for these ones, I'll show you the trick. With these ones, you want to hold the fin, and as you can see, there's this little part sticking out. And that's how you know you cut the fish perfectly, because that's how you know you separated the tendon, or the joints, instead of cutting through the bone. So what you do, you take your knife, you grab your fish, and you catch your blade on, way up here. You catch your blade on that part and cut outwards. When you cut outwards, you'll see what happens. Come on. As you can see, that's a teeny tiny bit of meat gone, instead of cutting off a whole chunk of meat. Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't really mind doing that little extra work to make it look a little better. It doesn't matter. Like, personally, again, like, if I'm just cooking it for myself and not like making it, trying to like look appetizing and stuff, like if I'm in the bush or something, I just cook it with it on. Like, I don't care. It holds moisture into the meat, first of all. It doesn't have as many meat like openings for it to dry out, so that's a bonus. And then what you do is, now that you have this super nice handy pocket back here, take your thumb, and you can hold it 2 hands now instead of just trying to fiddle with it with one, which is one of the most annoying things ever. And then you just clean out the kidney. Or not the kidney, the blood vein. And again, you can do the same thing that you did with this fin. Right here, and I guess right here too. But that fin, there's not much there. There's like maybe 3 bones. Like that little fin right there. Sometimes the fish won't even have them. Like, they don't super badly need it. It just helps them a little bit in the water, but not that much. Hookings. But yeah, that's what comes out of the freaking top vein of the fish. That's why you want to get it out. In a survival situation, the way to cut up a fish is different as well. In a survival situation, what you want to do is, again, do this. Go straight up the middle. See how easy it's going through there? It's not struggling at all, see? Just pops right through. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is just continue along. Cut it up to there. in all reality, technically, in a survival situation, this is what you do. You go up this crease all the way to the peak. Then you come back down the crease. I'm going to continue cutting this fish up. Yeah, so you'd want to cut it all the way up to here. So you have this chunk of meat as well. Cut it up the side of the head, facing in. So you want to face in. Cut through. Don't worry about bones. In a survival situation, those bones are really good for you. Full of calcium and all sorts of other things that you need. So then you just keep cutting up, and you, if you can, if there's any meat on the face, you'd want to take this cheek meat. This cheek meat's really good for you too. You'd want to take the eyeballs out. You'd want to eat the eyeballs. I'm not a huge fan of them, but you can. But yeah, no, anyways. So you cut facing towards the fish, cutting all the way up, and doing what I did with the other fish that I was doing, and cutting all the way up like this till you get the hard part. Then you cut down because you can feel it. Connect your cuts, I guess, because I didn't yet. There we go. And you cut. Again, you want to follow that line facing the fish. And again, in all reality, you probably want to keep the fins. But I'm still cooking it for dinner tonight, so I'm not gonna keep the fins on there. And anyways, so you do the same thing, but you're doing it on a very, very more precautious setting, because you got to get all the meat off you can. Every little bit of meat on this fish is your saving grace, and if you don't have that, you're done. You're not making it. You're not getting home. Again. Forgot to do the top break, sorry. Push it up. See, now that, oh, there we go. Because I did the bottom one first, it's not as funny. Just peel it out. Then you take the butt, pull that out, open it up. And you'd want to just get this crap out. And then what you do is you put this in some sort of hot boiled water or boiling water to let it cook. And then after it's done cooking, you eat it and you drink the broth, because the broth will have a whole bunch of vitamins that are water soluble. The fish itself is full of everything, like everything you need. The bones have calcium, so you'd want to grind up the bones into it, as in you want to literally make it so those bones cook away in your meat. Like, sorry, not in your meat, but like in your meal, like your soup or whatever. And then, yeah, so there you go. That's how you do it for survival situations. Not much left, so I'm just gonna use all of it. And with the paper towel, I'm just gonna be doing this with the fish. Taking off the slime a bit, taking off some of those scales. With rainbow trout, in all reality, you don't have to take off the scales. Personally, I don't find it any different. There you go. That's my video of how to clean rainbow trout. And just some tips for, you know, rainbow trout in general. Because fish eat their own kind, their exact species, to be exact. Like, they'll eat their own kind before they'll eat anything else. And the reason why is because their bodies actually absorb their own meat better. So when you're fishing for big fish, always use colors that are minnow colored fish of that species of fish. So you want to look at what species you're going for, and you want to identify what the minnow version of that fish is, the baby version of that fish. Because when you do that, you find out what the fish are eating, the big fish are eating. People go, oh, well, you can just use flies. Well, flies, the big fish don't usually go for flies. And I'm talking the big fish. The big fish, they only go for their own kind. They don't go for anything else because they literally, just them swimming burns up so much energy that they can't survive off of eating anything else but their own kind. Anyways, there you guys go. There's my little bit of a fishing tip, little bit of keeping fish tip. So keeping fish, good thing. Keeping females, bad thing. Doesn't matter if it's big, small, the bigger they are as a female, the more you want to keep them. Because the bigger they are as a female, the more eggs they can lay. So there you guys go. Thank you for watching. See you guys later.